Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Introduction to Sociology live class meeting. My name is Chatan Brame, and I am your instructor for Social 11 this term. Our class began on Wednesday, August 18th, and ends on Wednesday, October 12th. And today I'd like for us to briefly take a moment to review a few course aspects together. While I realize that some of your classmates are not available to attend this live session, no worries. Any questions that need to come forth can come forth to me outside of this meeting, just to ensure the privacy and confidentiality of everyone. I'll be recording this meeting and placing it in the module 2, as well as sending the link to the video through an announcement in the course shell. So just so that we can get started, I do have a few housekeeping considerations that we definitely want to be mindful of. Feel free to show or not show your video if you don't want it to be captured if you speak during the live session. You are also more than welcome to opt out from the identification in the recording by muting your audio, which doesn't enable the video, and not typing in the chat window. For the most part though, I will pretty much be speaking for this live session. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email and I'll provide you with my email address, which is located in the course shell, but I'll provide that to you before the end of the session, as well as to send me or text me or call me, and I'll provide you with my contact number as well. So today, let's do a quick overview of the course. What is sociology? Sociology, in many aspects, is the study of a variety of different systems in our society and how things work in aspects of how we interact and how we relate to others overall, and how we engage in life in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's from interacting with family members, community contexts, to influencing situations and circumstances on our jobs, in our homes, and beyond, speaks to the realm of what sociology is and how it reaches and impacts every day of our lives. In this course, you'll learn about a multitude of different topics and themes that impact social change, social movements, how we function as an individual in society, through a variety of different theories that you'll learn about in different topics, such as 3 major theoretical paradigms of the science of human society, such as structural functional, which you've probably already started reading about now that we have access to our wonderful text. Also conflict, as well as symbolic interaction. You'll explore those 3 theoretical paradigms, as well as an abundance of different theorists and theories, from Marx to Spencer to Cooley to Mead, and so many more. You'll learn about research and how we consider the validity of different kinds of concepts in relation to theory as well as research. We'll also look at describing terms and then applying them based upon current events in our world. So you won't just have to regurgitate what's going on in the text or different aspects of what you've researched. I want to be able to hear from you and see how sociology is living out through your life and through your life experiences. We'll also examine contemporary issues such as diversity, inclusion, racism, ageism, ableism, and so many different more. Hopefully all of you have connected to the wonderful link through the IV Plus bookshelf, which allows for us to be able to view the textbook, which is titled You May Ask Yourself by Dalton Conley. It is the 7th edition, so it should be easily accessible and available. If you find that you still cannot access the textbook, please don't hesitate to contact me and let me know so that I can put in a help desk ticket on your behalf. Now, in this course, Social 111, there are several different assignment categories that will guide you through your work, from introductory assignments, which all of you, well, for the most part, have completed, chapter quizzes, discussion board posts, PowerPoint projects, as well as a final exam, which is comprehensive based upon all the content that you will cover this term. Now, all of your assignments were due, as far as your introductory assignments, on this past Monday, which was August 23rd. So you have been able to get a feel for how to engage with the discussion board and to potentially take a quiz of sorts. Next, you'll experience chapter quizzes, which are worth about 20 points. And be sure to read the assigned reading before you attempt the quizzes, because you only get 1 attempt to complete them. You're welcome to use your notes or your textbook when completing the quiz, because if you look at the actual instructions, It doesn't say not to use your textbooks or your notes. And I know I definitely won't be monitoring it in your homes individually as you complete your work. So feel free to use the resources that are available to you in order to capitalize on answering the questions so that you can be able to have an even greater understanding of the content. Next, we have the discussion board posts that link to various topics within the textbook, and some aspects you may learn some different things outside of the textbook as well. So I think it's a great opportunity for you to be able to engage, not just with the topics, but to engage with your classmates. This is an opportunity to expand your thinking and to utilize those two wonderful things called critical thinking. It's that expansion opportunity, but it also allows you to reflect from your personal experience and apply it within your discussion board response. For discussion board posts, you're expected to respond to at least 2 classmates. So be sure to do so that you don't have to, I don't have to deduct points. Now to the next assignment that's listed in your syllabus is the PowerPoint project, which includes about 3 different components. Now, let me be clear. All of the components must be completed for you to capitalize on the maximum powerful or PowerPoint points that you need to have for this assignment. The full project is worth 100 points. There are 3 components. One is the outline, which is worth 20. The second is the annotated bibliography, which is worth 20. So that's 40 points right there. And then your final 60 points make up the PowerPoint presentation that will need to be done and submitted by the end of the term. So keep in mind, if you choose not to do the outline, you choose not to do the annotated bibliography, but you decide to do the presentation, you will not get any points. The key is to see the progression of the need to complete the outline as well as the annotated bibliography in order to reach your level of creating the PowerPoint presentation based upon the preparation work that you've done in those first 2 components. So when you look at the outline instructions, basically keep in mind that the outline should be submitted in a Word document, and it is alphanumerical. The type of outline is right in the actual name of the outline, alphanumerical, numbers, letters, no bullets, no dashes. And the instructions highlight the key themes that would be included in your outline and your overall presentation. Now for your annotated bibliography, I encourage you to expand your research skills and look up samples of an annotated bibliography right online. This component should be submitted in a Word document as well. It should include 2 main aspects for each source that you selected to support your work for your PowerPoint presentation. Those 2 key main aspects speak to the citation of your sources, which must be in APA format only. And if I don't see the hanging indentation, if you go to the second line, it's not APA format. And then your actual annotation, which is a short summary about your source. Now for this particular assignment, the annotated bibliography, your description of the source should be brief and must include 2, not 1, 2 key descriptions. And those key descriptions speak to 1, definitely a summary of your work, but also why each source is included in your presentation and what information you are including from each source. Now for the what part, simply just give 2 or 3 examples of what will be included in your presentation. That's it. It doesn't have to be long drawn out. Don't need a dissertation. Keep it simple, keep it clean. In regards to the annotated bibliography. So again, you gotta have citation of your actual source, and then you must have your actual annotation, which speaks to the why and the what of what you will be incorporating in your final presentation, which is your PowerPoint presentation. Now your annotated bibliography must have at least 11 sources, and one of those sources must be your textbook. So if I see only 5 sources, guess what? Assignment incomplete. 0 points. Please redo. And that's another thing. When you do your outline, I will be working with you to provide feedback so that you can continue to work on your outline, resubmit additional revisions so that you can maximize on your points, but then also overall be able to complete the assignment correctly. The same will go for your annotated bibliography. I have no problem with you providing multiple revisions. I've had some students in previous classes that I've had submit 5, 6 different revisions until they get it right. And the reality is, while some people may think that this is arduous work to do or something difficult to do, it's a learning process. It's a learning experience. Don't just submit the work just to say you got it done. There needs to be meaning behind the work and an understanding of what you're actually doing, because this type of work is setting you up not just for the continued work that you do at Ivy Tech Community College, but also any work that you may do if you transfer on to a 4-year institution of higher learning, go on to graduate school, and so forth. The opportunity is to build the foundation now so that we can position you for even greater success once you leave Ivy Tech Community College. So with that, I want to discuss real quickly the PowerPoint presentation, which is the third component of your project, which must be an actual PowerPoint, not something in Google Docs or from another source. Reality is, if I can't open it, I can't grade it. So make sure it is a Microsoft Office PowerPoint presentation, okay? Be creative in what you're submitting. I've had people just plain black, blank white screen, and they just give me text. Some presentations I've seen in the past don't even give me images or anything of that nature. Have fun with your PowerPoint presentation. Give me some imagery. Be creative with your content that you post out there. Now, don't give me a full dissertation on one slide. That's not going to work. But you want to be mindful of learning how to set up a PowerPoint presentation. Again, it's not just setting you up for this class, it's setting you up for success in other classes that you have here at Ivy Tech, as well as other colleges that you may go to, as well as even in your workforce, because many different companies and businesses, they utilize the Microsoft Office environment. So if you don't know how to use it effectively, now is the time to start learning it. Now, for that particular assignment, you must have at least 25 slides. Yes, 25. So be sure that your outline reflects the depth of your work needed for the final presentation. And finally, in regards to our different assignment categories, we have the final exam. Now, as we get closer to the final exam, you will receive specific instructions and a link to access the exam within Ivy Learns. Now, some of you may have already received some information about where to take the exam, but no worries if you have not. I will make sure that you receive this information, and we'll post an announcement with all necessary information that you need to know in advance before you take the final exam. The final is not proctored. It is worth 100 points, and it must be taken in one sitting. So you need to be ready in order to take that exam. And you have 45 minutes to take that exam. So before I log off, I do want to refer you to 2 sources that are already available to you through your course shell through our Social 111 class. So what I'm going to do real quickly is I am going to share my screen. So I'm hoping that you can see the screen that's being shared. And basically, I'm looking through the actual student view. So this is the view that you actually will see or have seen since you've been in the course shell. So basically, you can see the recent announcements. You see the sociology information as well as the different modules. But I want to refer you to the syllabus. When you go into the syllabus, I want to encourage you to scroll down and go into the View College Policies. It will open up another document, and I want you to scroll down to the second page. At the top of the second page, I do want to encourage any student that may seek to, that may have the need to receive any type of academic accommodations due to any documented learning differences or health conditions, which includes mental impairments. I encourage you to connect with the Office of Disability Support Services at your local campus. In the event that you are able to be eligible to receive approved accommodations, I will receive information directly from the Disability Support Services office, and I can be able to provide accommodations to you if you qualify. In addition to that, I want to go back to our syllabus and scroll down to a section that speaks to online discussion board expectations. And those different aspects that I've listed, I know one of the assignments during your first week was to review the syllabus and to go through the scavenger syllabus quiz or scavenger hunt, if you will. But I do just want to reiterate this real specifically and ensure that you have an understanding of how this supports the online learning experience for all engagements and interactions through the discussion board posts, as well as any other aspects of how you engage in the course shell. I want us to definitely be mindful, be civil, and most definitely be respectful in our interactions. So I encourage you to look through all of this, how you participate, how you show up in the classroom matters. Report any glitches if you find any errors that are coming forth, so that if I need to submit an IT help desk ticket, I have no problem doing that. Be patient, be brief. Use proper writing style. Keep in mind, you're not sending me a text message when you're submitting your assignments. So you definitely need to make sure that your writing style is scholastic in nature, as well as something that you would basically be proud of your instructor reading. There are aspects to where I do ask for your opinion on things. Let us still just be mindful. This is still a class. Again, it's not just, you know, a friend to a friend type of dynamic that's taking place in the course shell. So just be mindful of your writing style. Cite your sources if you had any sources that you referred to. We want to make sure that we stay away from plagiarism, right? Yeah, stay away from plagiarism. It's very important. Any emoticons or texting within there as far as different aspects of it, please refrain from, you know, the happy faces and the see you laters kind of thing within your discussion board posts. Now, say, for example, if it's in the different comment sections where it's just me and you as the student individually, of course, we can have, you know, have that kind of banter to where we go back and forth. But when you're in the actual assignment, especially in a discussion board post that others are seeing, you want to make sure that your writing style is appropriate. You also want to respect diversity in regards to being mindful of the language that you use. No yelling, i.e. making sure that all of your text or your responses in capitalizations. Of course, if there's some aspects that you want to emphasize, like a word or two words, and you emphasize it with bold, that's not necessarily yelling, you're just really emphasizing that aspect. That's definitely fine, but definitely don't allow your entire response to be all caps. You also want to make sure that there's no flaming, and this is very intentional. Criticism must be constructive, well-meaning and well-articulated. So please don't have any tantrums while you're in the course shell. Don't get upset to the point where you're just going off. Allow yourself to pull away from the laptop, you know, gather yourself and then re-engage with the assignment at hand. If you find that you may struggle doing that, reach out to me. I'm so flexible and accommodating, it is ridiculous. But I will make sure that, you know, we hold you accountable for doing the work that's done, that needs to be done, if you will, in the class. And then lastly, you can't unring that bell. That's such a key point. Language is your only tool in an online environment. So be mindful of this reality. In this environment, you contribute to how others perceive you. And once you've hit that send button, you've rung the bell. And these are some things that we have to be mindful of, not just in our class environment, but even in our work environments, as well as personal environments. Sometimes we hit that button and it's like, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't have done that. So we just have to be mindful before we hit that button. And then finally, one other aspect that I want to encourage you through, well, really two aspects. As you can see, you've got the point distribution as well as the grading scale that's listed. Be mindful of the final tips to support your success in an online class, reviewing your written posts and responses before you submit them. Become familiar with using the Microsoft Office environment. We've talked about that already. Do not use Google Docs for this course. That's the only aspect that is not welcomed in this course show. But then also create your posts in a Word document, save it, and then copy and paste it into the posting section. I find that this is so beneficial, especially if you're having technological difficulties, if your computer crashes, if your computer shuts down and you have to reboot. These are some things that are so common with technology. So keep in mind, if you save it, what you're going to submit as far as your response, and then you try to upload it and it doesn't work, no problem. You're not flustered in the fact that you're just writing it live. You can go back to what you saved, copy it again and paste it. If it still doesn't work, shoot me an email, Ms. Brame, I'm trying to submit, but I'm having issues. Here's my response, just so that you have it before the deadline. Done deal. It'll help to reduce stress. It'll help to reduce frustration. And you have a paper trail to where you can document your work. And I can see that you've done the work before the deadline, okay? Also, course summary. You want to be mindful of looking at the course summary. Focus on the due dates that are listed to the left of the actual assignment details. That is when your assignments are due, okay? All assignments for the most part are usually due by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but again, be mindful of the due dates that are left to the assignment details, okay? All right, and then finally, one of my announcements that I sent to you spoke to this particular document. And this is a document that kind of provides you with some different tips on how to become even more effective in being an online adult learner. So I encourage you to read through this if you have not already done so. If you read through it once, read through it twice. You just might be able to capture something that you may have missed on the first read. Really good read, really helpful, and just be mindful of positioning yourself accordingly, not just in this course shell but really any course shell that you have. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I am going to go back to being fully visual. So now you've learned a little bit more about Social 111, and I hope that you feel a little bit more at ease engaging with the assignments and hopefully with engaging with me as well, whether it's via email, whether it's by phone, or if we need to get on the Zoom call, hey, let's get on the Zoom call. We just need to identify the time that works best for both of us, and we can make it happen. So if you have any questions or concerns, don't suffer in silence. Contact me anytime, and I'll be sure to respond back within 36 hours or less, which is usually the college's standard time of response. I can be reached through email at jbrame2@ivtech.edu. That's jbrame2@ivtech.edu, or on my cell at 937-305-6392. So I'm going to close our session, our live session out today for the evening with this following quote. It doesn't matter how well you start if you fail to finish. So with all things considered, I encourage each of you to be like Ivy and allow yourself to grow where there is room. In our Social 111 class, there's room for you to learn more about your interactions with yourself and with others. So make time to make room for your learning experience and position yourself to explore new topics and reconsider some of those that were familiar ones, and be open to potentially encountering a new point of view. Again, I welcome you to Social 111. Please stay safe, remain encouraged, and definitely remain well.